press will treat this like a footnote, but I will tell you, if there was a Democratic president and a Republican came and flipped a seat that a Democrat had won just months ago by 11 points and flipped it by 22 points, it would be the only thing on TV. So I hope that if press is here, write that damn story about what Democrats are doing, about the victories that we're having. And we're having them not just because of the work in this room. We're having them because people are not going to let this democracy die on our watch. And I'm going to keep saying it. We are not giving over this country to some Timu dictator with swollen ankles who thinks that he's going to be a king. Folks are not going to have it. They're not going to allow it. And I'm damn proud to be a part of the party that is standing in the way of somebody who wants to rip apart what this country is about. And I'm so damn proud to do it with this team and with the leadership of our chair. And I just want to say our chair gets a lot of shit, but he's an incredible leader, and I'm proud to serve with him. Thank you.
Thank you, Malcolm. Next up is the ASDC President and Vice Chair, Jane Kleeb.
Thank you, Chair Martin. The ASDC has been very busy over the past couple of months. We have been to 56 out of the 57 state parties doing our SWOT analysis in conjunction with Chair Martin's Office of Innovation. We've conducted over 1,500 interviews with local folks in the states, figuring out what folks on the ground think their strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats are of their state party. They will then be given a report written by the ASDC and DNC, and then they'll be given a strategic planning grant to write a 4-year, not 1 year, not 6 months, but a 4-year strategic plan. Those will all be given, of course, to the DNC as they conduct their 10-year strategic planning process. We have an exciting announcement to do later today at the ASDC meeting, so I won't do it here, but it's in conjunction with Act Blue and a good investment into our state party infrastructure. And then we're just, continuing to innovate at state parties. We're doing projects like listening posts and making sure that our state parties are doing programming like partisan voter registration, voter guides, precinct and block captains. So we are doing the work to elect Democrats at the state and local level, and we have these victories that we can brag about because of strong state parties. Thank you.
Thank you, Jane. Our next up is our National Finance Chair, Chris Corge.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And as a member of the seasoned community, I am very proud to give this report. There's one word that describes what's going on from a fundraising point of view. It's called double, because we are actually doubling what we did in 2017. And yes, major donors are not where we would probably all love to be, which is back where we were during, the last presidential election. But they also are doing better than 2017. And there's really, being just candid about it, there's one reason why we are doing that well. And I promise you, when we win Virginia, New Jersey governor's races, you are going to see a total turnaround in attitude. Yes, major donors are tired. They gave more, like double the amount they've ever given, but they will be back with a vengeance, and it's because of our chair. It wasn't a joke when the mayor says the hardest working guy. I have never, and I've been around since 91, okay? I have never seen a chair work as hard as he does. 7 days a week. He's laying the foundation by personally meeting. They all know me already. But he is going and spending the time city to city, meeting and talking to them, and that will pay off in multiples you have no idea. So, Mr. Chairman, thank you for your hard work. And I want to thank all of you. And I just have one ask, and I always do this. I'm going on my 7th year here. I have one ask. every person in this room and every member of the DNC, I don't care how much it is. I mean, I do care, but as much as possible, but everyone needs to contribute. It makes a difference when I can tell the donors, major donors, that every member of the DNC, all 428, if it's still the number, are contributing. So I ask you all, not only here, but go back to your states, and when we get into the big room, ask everyone to contribute. It really makes a difference, and it's a statement about what we are doing. Thank you all.
Thank you, Chris. Next up is our treasurer, Virginia McGregor from the great state of Pennsylvania.
Yes, it is a great state. So like Chris Cords, I love talking about money as your DNC treasurer. But more than talking about money, I love to talk about winning. And every week I meet with our new CFO, Mark McLaughlin, who has been a great addition to the team, the senior team at the DNC. And he, along with his staff, which is now fully occupied with 9 employees on the CFO staff, we are ready to make sure that we are the good stewards of the money that comes into the DNC so that we are able to get it out there and spent in the field as our chair and his team decide. So I'm really excited about the future. Our finances are strong, and I look forward to keeping that going. Thank you.
Thank you, Virginia. Next up, of course, is our Secretary, Jason Ray. Yeah.
I don't have much to add this morning. I'm a little exhausted from joining my team. We were setting up the general session until about 12:30 last night, and they were up at it first thing this morning again. But since we met in Little Rock as an executive committee, I think the office has I think we've conducted 19 virtual election meetings, and then with this meeting getting ready for 21 different election meetings. So hopefully, as Shasti said, we're done with elections for a little bit as a body, but really been working to just continue to build and support our DNC members. We have so many great new members who have joined us, as well as getting to travel the country and get to support Democrats and help win up and down the ballot. But that's all I've got this morning, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Last but not least, as you can see, we're going in alphabetical order. So is our Vice Chair for Civic Engagement and Voter Protection, Raina Walters-Morgan.
Good morning. I have to start by saying that I am a woman of faith, and I really am praying for anyone impacted by the tragedies today. Words matter, actions matter, and I think it's a reminder that in tough times we all have to stand together. I, like many of the officers, have been traveling this country, and I'm so proud to be here and be your Civic Engagement and Voter Participation Vice Chair. What I can tell you is that although some people might say Democrats are not doing the work, I can tell you that they are. There are people who are organizing, who are training, who are doing the work in their communities and making a difference, having those conversations with their neighbors who are lied to by this administration, and stepping up to support those in need in their communities. I have seen so many profiles in courage, and they have been through acts of resistance. And the acts of resistance that we have seen in this Democratic Party have been significant. To that end, we have to say thank you to the Democrats in Texas. Because the Democrats in Texas stood up in a way for our democracy that came at a personal cost to them. For those who don't know, the last time they did a walkout several years ago, they had a significant impact, and the Republicans changed the rules so that this time when they walked out, it was a $500 fine per day that could not be paid from campaign accounts. These people have families, they're caregivers, so thank you to the Texas Democrats who took that personal cost on to help our democracy. And we also have to say thank you to California. Yes, on Prop 50. Because we are living in unprecedented times, and as everyone has said, we have to fight fire with fire, and California Democrats have stepped up to the plate to make sure that we are playing on the same level field. So thank you to the Democrats in California. And as I leave, because I know we only had a few short remarks today, I have to say that I am very proud that the DNC has a new voter protection director. Her name is Hurley Rosemond. Some of you may have worked with her. Yes, she deserves some applause. She is incredibly talented. She has been doing this work in this space, and she will continue the strong commitment that this organization has to supporting state parties, to supporting Democrats, to supporting everyone to make sure that every eligible voter can cast a ballot that counts. So thank you for the time today. Thank you for the work that you do. You all know that I like to leave with a call to action. And so my calls to action to you are to, one, take care of yourself, because we are living in really hard times, and sometimes it's hard to get up every day and hear people talk about you and hear people do things that are not becoming of them. But you get up every day and you put your armor on and you do this work. So thank you for doing that. Take care of yourself. But also make time for Virginia and New Jersey. Make time for Virginia and New Jersey. The governors are on the front lines, and we know that we need them in place to make sure that they are holding these administrations accountable. So there are going to be many opportunities to volunteer, and we will make sure that you get that information before you leave today. Thank you.
Thank you to our officers. Before we bring up Roger for some brief remarks, I just want to say that this executive committee will have more time at a future meeting and more thoughtful conversation about where this party goes, what our direction is, and our plans. But I do want to echo something that Reina just mentioned. We have big elections bearing down on us in just a few short months, both in Virginia, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, of course, with those 3 Supreme Court races, and over 100,000 local elections on the ballot throughout the country this year. We have to do our part. In whatever states you're in, please plug into those elections. Please plug into the work that we're doing in Virginia and New Jersey. We will send out opportunities for all of you to participate wherever you're at, or if you want to join me or any of the other officers on the road as we make our way into Virginia, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and states in between. We need all of us to roll up our sleeves in the coming months to make sure we're victorious in 2025. And while we have wind at our backs for sure, no one should take that as a given that we're going to win. We have to actually do the work. There are real opportunities for us, for sure. Opportunities for us to expand our coalition, to bring in people who left our party, bring them back into the conversation. And I do believe we will win. But we have to do the work. And if we do the work, and if is the operative word, I believe we'll win in 25 and 26. And so someone who's leading our charge, of course, and is the quarterback of our team is our executive director, Roger Lau. Please welcome our executive director, Roger Lau.
Thank you, Chairman. Can you guys hear me okay? Great. We actually have a broader presentation. We're out of time, so we'll have to revisit some other time. For the new members, looking forward to getting introduced myself and getting to know you guys. For the long-serving members, thank you for your service. Thank you for friendship, partnership. Let me just start by saying, Ken and I have known each other on and off since 2004. Ken got a little bit started before I did, but he and I both worked together in the Kerry campaign. Since then, we stayed in touch. I wound up working for John Kerry for 14 years. Ken obviously wound up doing all sorts of amazing things, winning elections over and over again, Minnesota. I later served as, I worked for Senator Warren for 10 years as a re-election campaign manager in 2018, and also the presidential campaign. I was lucky enough to serve as her campaign manager. And through those years, Ken and I just got to know each other. We got to know each other's values. We got to know each other's backgrounds. And what we shared, we didn't have the exact same story, but both of us understood what it meant to be a kid growing up struggling, right? We can get into those stories later on when we have more time. But the other thing that we shared was the fact that we wanted to fight for kids like us and families like ours. And it wasn't just the what and the why, but also the how, right? This idea that the best way that he and I know how to fight for families like ours and kids like us is to organize, win elections, and get Democrats elected. I'll be honest, after working for Senator Warren, I worked at the DNC with folks like Reina for 4 years under the Jamie Harrison. And obviously we did a lot of work with many of you all. And by the end of it, I was exhausted. Just like a lot of Democrats, I came out of this feeling like I don't know if I have all the answers in this moment. This is really hard. Ken, obviously ran along with all these officers here, a courageous campaign after the demoralized election, and they injected positivity and optimism and energy into, I think our party. At the end of it, I was ready to sort of pack my bags and just take some time and think. Ken approached me and asked me to serve as executive director, and I was blown away. I mean, obviously, I knew that he and I had a partnership. We had shared values, but man, I was tired. I was just really exhausted. But as I heard him talk over and over again through the campaign with their staff about this idea of building the win, right? Building the last, not just for 2025 and important elections like New Jersey and Virginia, but 2026 and the midterms, but talking about a 10-year plan, right? Something that's well beyond his term as chairman, to help win elections after redistricting, after lines change. These are things that we're seeing happening now in Texas and California and all around the country. Ken was talking about. That got me really excited. That's when I started thinking, maybe I can do this. I don't know if I have all the ideas. Ken will be the first one to say he doesn't have a lot of other ideas, but he's bold, he's ambitious, he's got a vision, he's got a great team of officers around him, and you all collectively in our DNC membership, we all have ideas, and Ken's the one to listen to him to make that happen. So I was going to run through all the great things that we've been doing, things that we're going to do. You all have heard about the town halls and the incredible record-breaking fundraising and the fights and all the work we've been doing on redistricting, different ways that we're trying to communicate in this fragmented media environment, our tech investments, data investments, all these things, and most importantly, winning, right? Ken talked about winning or overperforming in 40 key races all around the country, pretty much all the key races. That's a huge deal. We have been winning. I'll be honest, looking back at this the last 6 months and change, it has been tough. It has been walking uphill in the rain and the wind while people are spinning on you along the way, right? And it's hard work. And people talk about Ken's fortitude, his work ethic. It's not just that he works hard. It's not just that he's literally, and this is not metaphor, it's not just that he's literally the first person walking in the office every day and the last person walking out. It's because he, like many of you, has persevered through doing this work under just extraordinarily difficult circumstances and under duress and attack. Not just from Fox News, we can deal with that, but the infighting has been tough, right? Unfortunately, that's what's been covered, but again, everyone talked about all the exciting and cool things that we've been doing the last 6 months. Let me just tell you one last thing before we go. There are things that the DNC does that only the DNC can do. And when I say this, these things that the DNC does and only they can do are not easy things. They're not sexy things, but they're not easy, right? Those of you who've been around, the data swap agreement that enables the national voter file, that makes sure every single Democratic campaign, every state party, every candidate has access to the best data we could possibly have. For those who've been around, those conversations have been fraught. That they've been challenging. That it's been polarizing. And many times those conversations have spilled out in the media in the ugliest way, tearing our party apart, right? The SPP agreement, right? Our funding formula, the agreement that we have with state parties to make sure state parties have resources they need in exchange for creation of that national voter file. Any state party chair here remembers how fraught that was. Maybe there's some reporters here who have been covered it over the years, right? And wanted to write about it. We got that done, right? No news, no drama, right? We had a van agreement. We're all talking about how we build tech for the future. It's a big contentious conversation, not just with tools and van and everything else, but we're thinking about how to do this better. And we got that contract done 2 weeks ago. And this one I'm the most proud of personally. The DNC has always believed that our most important asset and resource are our staff and our volunteers. We are proud to be a union organized DNC staff. Ken, when he came in, said, I want to be bold, I want to be ambitious, just like we've done for state parties, just like we've done for investment. I want to invest in our staff. He wanted a 4-year contract. We've never done that before. He wanted to make sure we paid people not more than a fair living wage, more than we've ever done before, making sure that people have health care, benefits, severance pay, things that we have not had in our CBA. And guess what? In 3 months, we got a 4-year historic deal done, right? That contract signed. The staff contract is secure until after the presidential campaign. So I say these things, these are not things that people outside understand, right? But you all who do this work understand it. You all understand how hard this is, but also how important this is. And for those who've been around, all these things have played out in Politico, data wars, right? The van agreement is gossip, right? CBA, you wound up in Dear White staffers, right? Protests. This can only have been done as well, as competently, as quietly, as calmly, because of Ken Martin's leadership. So when we think about just how hard it's been the last 6 years and how it's not just the press releases that we send, it's the things that you don't see. These are the things that the DNC does that only the DNC can do, and we've done it well. So, Chairman, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for keeping the ship steady. But thank you just for being strong for all of us. You're the tip of the spear. I know it's not easy being out there, but you're an inspiration.
Thanks, Roger. We got a few minutes for some questions here. I do want to just echo what Roger just said to all of you. First, I'm grateful. I was very nervous that he was going to say no when I approached him as well, and mainly because I know how tired folks were after this last election and people needed a break, and we've been going nonstop. And I do want to say again, building this party and the infrastructure of this party, a lot of this stuff behind the scenes is not sexy, but it's so important, right? And I'm glad that he reflected on some of our major accomplishments this year already. We got a lot of work to do. Don't get me wrong. We're not patting ourselves on the back. We're not saying everything's great. We know the work in front of us, the hill in front of us is steep. We know we have to, most important task in front of us is not just winning elections, but rebuilding trust. Rebuilding trust with so many people in this country right now who've lost faith in the Democratic Party, and that's what we're doing. And so I know there's a few questions. We don't have a lot of time, maybe 5 minutes at most, so I'm going to call, first off, start. If you have a question, raise. We only have a few minutes. I'm going to start with my friend from Florida, Alan Clendenin.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Not a question, but an acknowledgement. One of our members that is not here today is Representative Sinfronia Thompson from the great state of Texas. She serves in the state house. She is obviously trapped in Texas, doing the business of the state. And of course, she, as our Vice Chair Reyna acknowledged the fine, she's facing a $9,000 fine for standing up for democracy and this Democratic Party. And I wanted to acknowledge she's one of our executive committee members from the Southern Caucus. She was reelected, even though she was not here. So we reelected her to the executive board, and I look forward to seeing her at the next DNC meeting.
Thank you, Alan. Next up is my friend from San Francisco, Christine Pelosi.
Real quick, field. I'm just going to say something that people aren't necessarily going to like, but that seems to be my role these days. Last year, consultants lit $1 billion on fire and pocketed another $750 million that we can track. I didn't see enough paid field. I didn't see enough black media. I didn't see enough rural radio. I didn't see enough ethnic media. And we are determined. I've told the governor. I've told my beloved mother, Nancy Pelosi. I've told anyone within the sound of my voice that we're not doing that again. And so when people talk about what we're doing, first of all, every call is a persuasion call. Second of all, if you don't have paid field, we will lose in California, not to mention New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Virginia, et cetera. So please, 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 let's all remember the reason why people are still sitting on some of their money is because they want to see it in the field. They want to see it where they live. And if we are paying media consultants and we are not paying phone bankers and door walkers, we will lose. So let's invest in field and let's win.
Thank you, Christine. Chair, we really have to get going. So
we do have to go, so we have time for one more. But let me just say, you don't have to convince me. I'm an organizer. So the last person I'm going to call on is a great friend of mine from Wisconsin, the mayor of Glendale, Mayor Brian Kennedy.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm tech challenged apparently. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to acknowledge the incredible investment that was made this year in local organizing. I'm the president of Democratic Municipal Officials. This summer we held our first ever candidate camp. We had 545 people register from across the country to attend our candidate camp. And particularly important were states like Kentucky and Tennessee. Those two combined were about 15% of the people that registered. So we are making deep inroads into red states. I want to thank the DNC training department that helped us put on that all-day virtual candidate camp. It was a fantastic investment in local infrastructure and how we win local campaigns, and certainly an investment in our party. I just wanted to thank the chair and the DNC training department for that work.
Thank you so much, Mayor. And with that, again, we'll have more time at our December meeting.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, if you just indulge me for 1 second.
Governor Walters, we were late. I'm sorry.
Six years in, and we continue to not be provided an opportunity to have any kind of working discussions in this executive.
We will have, I mentioned a moment ago, Governor Walters, we will have conversations on that, and I'm happy to talk to you in a moment. Okay. With that, we are adjourned. Thank you so much. Take care.
Yeah. Well, definitely. That was the point.
This. What's up?
Irritants, part of life. Don't make them part of your period. Choose better. Choose Nua. All-night comfort pads with zero irritation promise. Periods, now irritation-free. Sister would have been better. Nua, better for her.
चंदू के चाचा की चटनी और बहुत कुछ 10 मिनट्स में और बिग बास्केट।
नमस्कार, मैं रवीश कुमार। ट्रंप ने 25% अतिरिक्त टैरिफ को नोटिफाई कर दिया है, यानी 27 अगस्त की सुबह 9:30 बजे से लागू हो गया। इसके पहले 7 अगस्त को 25% टैरिफ लगा था। इस बार जो नोटिफाई किया गया है वह जुर्माना है। रूस से तेल आयात करने के कारण भारत पर लगाया गया है। ट्रंप भारत पर जुर्माना लगा चुके हैं और उनके दोस्त प्रधानमंत्री मोदी अभी तक इस विषय पर कुछ भी नहीं बोल पा रहे हैं। डिग्री नहीं दिखाना चाहते, कोई बात नहीं। प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस नहीं करना चाहते, उस पर भी कोई बात नहीं। लेकिन ट्रंप को लाल आंखें क्यों नहीं दिखा रहे हैं? हिंदू अखबार ने लिखा है कि 25% अतिरिक्त टैरिफ को नोटिफाई किया गया और भारत की तरफ से कोई बयान नहीं दिया गया कि इसका सामना कैसे किया जाएगा। अब तो ट्रंप ने प्रधानमंत्री मोदी का नाम लेकर कह दिया है कि उन्हें धमकी दी थी 24 घंटे के भीतर युद्ध रोक देने की, और प्रधानमंत्री मोदी ने 5 घंटे में ही युद्ध रोक दिया। कम से कम भारत की तरफ से इतना तो कहा जाता कि ट्रंप झूठ बोल रहे हैं। अगर ट्रंप के पास प्रधानमंत्री मोदी और ट्रंप की बातचीत की कॉल रिकॉर्डिंग है तो दुनिया के सामने दिखा दें। इस तरह की चुनौती भी ट्रंप को नहीं दी जा रही है।
I'm talking to a very terrific man, Modi of India, and I say, "What's going on with you in Pakistan?" Then I'm talking to Pakistan on trade. I said, "What's going on with you in India?" And the hatred was tremendous. Now this has been going on for a hell of a long time, like sometimes with different names for hundreds of years. But I said, "What's going on?" I said, "I don't want to make a trade deal." No, we want to make trade deal. I said, no, I don't want to make a trade deal with you. You're going to have a nuclear war. You guys are going to end up in a nuclear war. And that was very important to them. I said, call me back tomorrow, but we're not going to do any deals with you, or we're going to put tariffs on you that are so high. You were there, Howard, right? Yep. You're going to put tariffs on you that was so high, I don't give a damn. Your head's going to spin. You're not going to end up in a war. Within about 5 hours, it was done. It was done. Now, maybe it starts again. I don't know. I don't think so, but I'll stop it.
तो ट्रंप कह रहे हैं कि 5 घंटे के भीतर प्रधानमंत्री मोदी ने युद्ध रोक दिया, जबकि समय 24 घंटे का दिया था। यानी उनका मजाक उड़ा रहे हैं। यह भी मजाक उड़ा रहे हैं कि 7 जेट विमान गिरे और इसकी संख्या को लेकर सही रिपोर्टिंग भी नहीं हुई। यह हालत हो गई है भारत की। क्या भारत जैसे सशक्त देश के प्रधानमंत्री को अमेरिका के राष्ट्रपति फोन कर धमका सकते हैं कि युद्ध रोक दो, और प्रधानमंत्री मोदी 5 घंटे में युद्ध रोक देंगे? अगर खुद इसका खंडन नहीं कर पा रहे हैं तो कम से कम चुनाव आयोग से ही प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस करवा दें। चुनाव आयोग ट्रंप के बयानों पर मिसलीडिंग का ठप्पा लगा देगा, सारा गेम हो जाएगा।
ट्रंप ने आज कहा, सुनिए, ट्रंप ने आज कहा कि जब हिंदुस्तान पाकिस्तान का युद्ध हो रहा था, मैंने फोन उठाया और नरेंद्र मोदी से कहा कि सुन, ये जो तू कर रहा है इसको 24 घंटे के अंदर बंद कर। और नरेंद्र मोदी ने 24 घंटे में नहीं, 5 घंटे में सारा का सारा रोक दिया। मीडिया नहीं कहेगी भाइयों बहनों, मीडिया नरेंद्र मोदी की है, मीडिया अंबानी की है, मीडिया अदानी की है, मीडिया हमारी नहीं है, तेजस्वी की नहीं है, स्टालिन जी की नहीं है, आदिवासियों की, दलितों की, पिछड़ों की, ईबीसी की नहीं है।
इस देश से क्या क्या छिपाया जा रहा है हमें और आपको अंदाजा भी नहीं, लेकिन छिपाने की लाख कोशिशों के बाद सबको दिख रहा है कि भारत और अमेरिका के बीच अब संबंध वैसे नहीं रहे कि ट्रंप की आगवानी में स्टेडियम बुक किया जाए। दोनों देशों के बीच कूटनीतिक संबंध सबसे खराब स्तर पर हैं। तो इसे ठीक करने का क्या तरीका हो सकता है? ट्रंप से सीधे बात करने का तरीका हो सकता है, या चलो गुजरात, वहां पर स्वदेशी पर भाषण दिया जाएगा, क्या इससे समाधान हो जाएगा? आपने खबरें नहीं देखी कि ट्रंप के टैरिफ से टेक्सटाइल सेक्टर से लेकर जवाहरात और समुद्री भोजन से जुड़े लाखों लोग बेरोजगार हो सकते हैं। चैम्बर ऑफ ट्रेड एंड इंडस्ट्री ने प्रधानमंत्री मोदी को पत्र लिखा है कि टैरिफ भारत के उद्योगों को तबाह कर देंगे और लाखों लोगों की जीविका के लिए खतरा बन सकता है। टेक्सटाइल और चमड़े से लेकर रत्न आभूषण, ऑटो पार्ट, केमिकल, फार्मा, सी फूड, इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स और अन्य सेक्टर पर विनाशकारी असर पड़ेगा। इतने लोगों पर यह तबाही आने वाली है और प्रधानमंत्री मोदी दुकानदारों से स्वदेशी का बोर्ड लगवा रहे हैं। गोदी मीडिया टैरिफ लगाने के फायदे बता रहा है और ऐसी खबरें भी खुद ही दिखा रहा है कि टैरिफ के कारण फैक्ट्रियां बंद होने लगी हैं, मांग घटने से उत्पादन कम होने लगा है, यानी नौकरियों पर खतरा आने लगा है। 50% टैरिफ के दायरे में अमेरिका को किया जाने वाला भारत का 47 अरब डॉलर का निर्यात प्रभावित हो सकता है और कारण ट्रंप है, उनकी टैरिफ नीति है। लेकिन भाषण में ट्रंप और टैरिफ गायब हैं, स्वदेशी की वकालत की जा रही है।
और मैं विशेष रूप से दुकानदार भाई बहनों को कहना चाहता हूं,
Democrats across the country, which is why we are live streaming today's meeting. Thank you to the members and viewers who are joining us via live stream. Before I introduce Secretary Ray to report on our quorum, I'd like to also acknowledge our terrific, incredible parliamentarian, Helen McFadden, as well as our whole DNC team, all of the terrific staff who've been working tirelessly to organize this week's meeting. Thank you to the team at the DNC. Now I will ask our Secretary Jason Ray to report on the status of our quorum.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and good morning, Democrats. Good morning. Good morning. It is so great to see all of you this morning. Before we announce a quorum, just want to welcome, we have several new members of the Executive Committee during the last 2 days of our summer meeting. Each of our caucuses and councils held their meetings and elected new leadership. We have a number of new caucus and council leaders who are joining us on the Executive Committee, as well as after Monday's general session, ratifying the chair's 11 standing committee appointments to the at-large committee. So if you are just take a moment, if you are a new member of the Executive Committee, if you just want to raise your hand for a moment so we can welcome to all of our new Executive Committee members. But with that, Mr. Chair, bright and early this morning, as we head into our final day of our summer meeting, I'm pleased to report that we do indeed have a quorum ready for business.
Thank you, Secretary Ray. We have a quorum. It is now my honor, as many of you know, it is customary for the mayor of the host city to welcome us for this meeting. Joining us today, we have the 48th mayor of Minneapolis, a great friend of mine, Jacob Fry. Jacob, thank you for being here. I'd like to invite Mr. Fry, our mayor, to the stage to offer a few words to the Democrats in the room. Some of you have never been to this great city until 3 days ago, of course. He's done an amazing job turning around this city. Please welcome my friend, Mayor Jacob Fry.
Good morning, fellow Democrats. Good morning, everybody. How's this? All right. let's get rocking loud and early here in Minneapolis. We are so proud to have you in the land of Prince, in the city of lakes, the city that I did not grow up in, but I fell in love with when I was running the Twin Cities Marathon, and the day after I graduated, I moved my whole life out here. And I want to start just by saying a big thank you to your chair that you are beginning to get to know in Ken Martin. Give this guy a huge round of applause, because I'll tell you, the nation is getting to know Ken, and you all will find out what we know locally here in Minnesota, which one is that this guy works his ass off. We're talking like around the clock. We'll work tirelessly for democracy and standing up for those that don't have a voice. You will see him doing that work in the streets and on the doors, and yes, also in the conference rooms. And the results in Minnesota, certainly they speak for themselves, because, you know, statewide, guy had never lost an election, which is pretty impressive here in Minnesota. And obviously, cities around the country right now are dealing with a whole lot, whether it's LA or Baltimore or Chicago. You've got Donald Trump that is coming in with an intention to literally terrorize people. And it is more important now than ever that cities are working with states, that the Democratic Party is supporting mayors and Democratic governors around the country to make sure that we have the tools that we need to succeed, to keep people safe and push back on this kind of tyranny that we're seeing, which is terrifying. And if there's any question where Minneapolis stands, here's what I'll tell you. In Minneapolis, we don't refer to them as undocumented immigrants. They're just flat out our neighbors. We love them, we stand with them, and we will do everything possible to help them through this difficult time. And while I had you, I wanted to make sure that we livened up this, what I understand to be your last day here in Minneapolis, with some exciting talk about zoning reform, right? I wanted to talk to you about housing. Housing is a passion of mine. It is the reason why I ran for office to begin with. And whether you know or you don't know, I'm going to tell you, Minneapolis is getting the best results in the whole country in terms of housing. We have been able to keep rents down more than virtually any city in the entire country. We are producing 8.5 times the amount of deeply affordable housing since before I took office, and